What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Inside the Five. I'm Griff.
I'm Will.
I'm Stav.
And as you heard it, Stav is here, and he's here to stay. That's our big news for this episode. From here on out, Stav is the third member of the Inside the Five podcast. So, Stav, welcome. It's going to be a ride, so let's do
Let's
it.
go.
Let's do it.
All right. In this episode, we're going all things Super Bowl review, our bets, different stats, what we saw, what we didn't like, what we liked, all things Super Bowl. So let's get into that. Let's go. Let's have a good episode.
Let's do it.
All right, guys. The Super Bowl has wrapped up. Me and Will on the last episode, we both thought the Bengals were going to win. That didn't happen. And Stav, I believe you also wanted the Bengals to win.
Yes.
So, Stav, I'll get you started. What were your thoughts on this game?
So it's interesting that we talk about how the Bengals are always a second half team, right?
Yep.
And the fact that they were so close in the first half, but then they started off the second half strong and then couldn't pull it off. That's hurts a little bit, especially rooting for Joe Burrow. But I mean, they're all credit to the Rams. I think the Rams really deserve to win it. There's no question about that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they had better on paper. They were a better team, and they had the vets and they had the experience, and I feel like that's why a lot of people wanted the Bengals to win. Though they were just so young. It was Burrow's second year, and I heard some people talking about everybody in New England was hyped. So I didn't know what you guys were thinking that Burrow didn't win because Brady won it in his second year and Burrow almost did. But is that a good thing or is it a bad thing? Because I like Joe. I don't
Joe. I don't understand that whole argument for they don't want to see another Brady. I think we'd be lucky to see someone like that again. Honestly, I wouldn't think I'd ever see someone like that again. The fact that we're even talking about someone that can be like that again is nuts.
No, I'm not even kidding. I think Joe Burrow could be the next Tom Brady. I'm being serious, and I think Jamar Chase could be the next Randy Moss. And I think they're going to be on the same team forever.
It's interesting.
What's up?
Yeah,
it's interesting. We bring up the comparisons with the quarterbacks kind of from past to now because the narratives fit perfectly. Because you got Mahomes, who's probably the most talented, will probably win a shit ton of personal awards, but won't. I mean, he has his one Super Bowl, but he's always being compared to Aaron Rodgers. And then you got a guy like Justin Herbert, who's being compared to Philip Rivers, the arm strength, the it's gunslinger, but just can't win. That's another guy. It's just all the narratives are lining up. And
Herbert
Josh Allen being compared to I mean, who knows? But the narratives are lined up like that. I know you guys rock with
I'm a Herbert fanboy.
Herbert's
gonna get
fan.
Trust.
Yeah, you guys rock with Herbert, but
Herbert's my guy.
It's just interesting how everything's lining up to kind of
it's the next. It's actually the next generation of players, which it's been 15 years since that's happened. Brady was there obviously earlier, but the Philip Rivers, the Ben Roethlisbergers, and it hits reality when they start retiring. Rivers was gone after last year, and now Roethlisberger and Brady are gone this year. But it's there's so many new quarterbacks, and I wish Deshaun Watson was playing, but he's not. Because I feel like Deshaun Watson, his name should be in this category of the quarterbacks that are up next to dominate for the next 10, 15 years.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's cool that we're actually seeing this trend of the comparisons from what we grew up watching.
Yeah.
Just because in the middle of the Tom Brady, the Ben Roethlisberger, all those quarterback stars, we were we'll probably never see anything like that. And probably outlook was it's going to be a little dry for a bit. It just went right off. It didn't right there was no time wasted. Right around when Mahomes started taking off, then everyone all these quarterbacks started playing really well.
And rookies are coming in and like right away their first 2 years they're making a big difference on like every team. So it's not like
Very
these
big
guys
impact.
even like need time to progress. They're just going right at it. And we saw that
Yeah.
with Burrow. He didn't even play like half of his first year because of his ACL. And I mean he came into the Super Bowl this year and he didn't have a terrible game. He went 22 for 20 or for 33, 263 yards, a touchdown. Like not bad at all numbers. I felt like his offensive line didn't really do everything that they could have, but we were expecting that. That's the thing. Like you're expecting that offensive line to not do good against the Rams, and they just couldn't do anything.
I was gonna
I
say
actually
like
have a
that's
stat,
like my. I was gonna say that was like my big takeaway from I think the Super Bowl was just the Rams D line and the Bengals O line.
They
Like
set a
that.
record, the Rams D line.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna
They
say
set a
like
Super Bowl record, 7 sacks.
yeah, which is crazy. And then like it just showed like that just showed the game right there.
Yeah,
And it's interesting we bring up how bad the Bengals O line was because they still had some success on the ground. Mixon ran for 72 yards. I mean, granted, in the second half that was completely shut down, but early on they were controlling. I thought early on, even though in the first half the Rams were winning, I thought the Bengals were 100% going to win.
Yeah,
I did too.
Mixon was a key to this game for me. I thought if he could get over 100, they were easily going to win this game. And in the first half, it kind of looked like he was going to because I don't know if you noticed on any of his runs, but on all of his runs, he had to make a dude miss at the line of scrimmage, and he did like multiple times in the first half. But like throughout a game, when you're relying literally just on yourself to make someone miss, it's not going to be able to happen all 4 quarters. Like you need a few plays where you can go get 8 yards off, literally just running straight. Like Mixon was definitely so tired, and that's why they used Pirine a lot. And I don't know why on 2 third down plays in the fourth quarter, and then I mean the third down play on that last drive, they run the ball with Pirine. Like I know Mixon's tired, but like if you're gonna go for it on a 3rd and 2 that late in the game, like why not throw the ball? You have T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, who are having good games. Jamar Chase is like he will be open if you actually really need him to be. And Ramsey didn't even have that great of a day. He had a few plays, a few pass deflections.
Jamar was burning him the whole game.
Yes.
Like last play of the game, I don't know if you guys saw that final angle.
Yep.
Ramsey was literally on all fours. Jamar was just down the field open. They just didn't have enough time.
I don't really count the T. Higgins touchdown as yards that he led up because that was that was kind of bad. Like, and it's not like he could have really even done anything. Like when your face mask gets pulled, like you're done. He led up 126 yards in the Super Bowl. Ramsey did on players that he was covering, which is the most he's ever given up in his NFL career. And one of those plays was a big 75-yard touchdown, which probably should have been called back, but it wasn't. So I don't know. Like I still think even without that long ball for a touchdown, it's not like Ramsey had a great day. Like I want to say he had 2 deflections that I saw, one on the goal line, which was a big one on T. Higgins, like almost T. Higgins' 3rd touchdown. But like I also don't like how Ramsey plays on one side of the field. I don't agree with corners like that. I understand. But like if you're gonna be, and Deion Sanders said something like this, is like if you're not gonna follow around the number 1 receiver the whole game, then you shouldn't be compared to people of my stature. That's what he said. Yeah. And like guarding T. Higgins like is hard to do as well. And clearly he struggled with that. But you want to see Ramsey on Jamar Chase the whole game. That's just what people want to see.
Yeah, exactly. And like makes sense. Like that's that like it's the Super Bowl, like the biggest game of the year. And like you need to win. I mean, granted they won, so like it really doesn't now, but like hypothetically the Bengals win that game, like that's a big topic.
And we're kind of talking about like the what ifs as well. And I think the 3rd quarter, McVay was out coaching himself. He was thinking way too much,
which he tends to do.
Yeah, and I kind of thought back to the Patriots Super Bowl when they couldn't get anything going on offense. And it kind of looked like that in the third quarter. It was like, oh no, like the Bengals are going to pull away. Like they scored that quick touchdown. Granted, it could have been OPI or whatever. The very next play, Stafford throws a pick off of a deflected pass. The turning point in this game for the Rams, I believe, was holding the Bengals to 3 on that. Because the Bengals score again and go up 20, or no, it would have been 24, right? It would have been 24 to 10 or 13.
What time was it? Was it 13? Yeah.
It was 13 because it would have been 24 to 13. You're down 2 possessions. Like that's a huge turning point. The Rams defense holding them to 3 to keep it a 1 touchdown game is I don't know. I think that was a turning point. And then McVay had some questionable calls, like play calls, but I think he kind of settled down in the fourth quarter, called the great plays, got Cooper Kupp open. Like that's all. That's what you have to do. Get your best player of the ball in the Super Bowl.
It's crazy how obvious it is when they go to Cooper Kupp and how much it like doesn't matter about how obvious it is. Now Cooper Kupp had 92 yards, didn't get over 100, but 8 receptions for 92 yards. If you count his fourth down conversion on the jet sweep, he had over 100 all-purpose. One of those 2 touchdowns included a game-winning catch over Eli Apple. Eli Apple got clowned. Like,
that was bad.
It was because like not only did he said he wanted to be on OBJ because they're old teammates. He got put on Cooper Kupp for a couple of plays and got absolutely torched. It was insane. And Cooper Kupp did his thing, won Super Bowl MVP. Like Matthew Stafford was steady looking for him. But like it's just so obvious when they go to him, but it doesn't matter. Like, which is nuts. Like he had one of the greatest wide receiver seasons of all time. And he got to cap it off too, which is crazy.
His like interview at the end of the game, like when he won MVP and like they were talking, like it just like his like raw emotion for like how like in shock he was. He's like, I don't even deserve this. Like that. It was just like, it was just like something like, it was just crazy to even like watch that. Cause like he like totally does for all the work that he's done.
Yeah. And I wanted to say, Stafford didn't do too bad in my opinion. 2 picks were big. But one of them wasn't his fault at all.
No, it was
the kid from Notre Dame, Skoranek. That was 100% his fault. He threw 3 touchdowns, one to Odell to open up the game. Odell, who went out early. Did he go out in the second or the third? I think it was the third.
I think he went out in the
early
second.
Third.
It was a second.
Was it late second?
Because I remember they asked McVay about Odell. That happened.
Yeah,
they had no idea yet.
I mean, it was pretty obvious he was out for the game. It was a non-contact injury. Like he was done, which stinks. But he got his Super Bowl. So did Matthew Stafford. So a lot of people cashed out on Odell first touchdown score. I didn't have him to score the first touchdown, but I had him to score a touchdown.
I did too.
Anytime touchdown for Odell was the biggest lock ever. I think that should have just been free money. I don't know how the odds were plus, but
I also think what's his name? Aaron Donald was over 1.5 sacks and it was plus odds. I didn't get that, but he hit it. He had 2 sacks.
Which is wild.
One of those sacks wasn't even like that great because Joe Burrow was like a yard behind the line of scrimmage and he was like all the way out. He was about to run, but they counted as a sack. But like I'll give him that. His last sack though was crazy.
Yeah.
He sealed the game. He sealed the game in the game against the 49ers too.
Did they count that as a sack?
Yeah.
The last
No. Wait, the last play? Oh no, that wasn't
the
a
last
sack.
play
I didn't mean to say it was a sack. It wasn't a sack because he threw it out. But I mean the game-ending pressure and to get on the quarterback like that with no time left. I mean, no matter how bad that offensive line is, and there were moments of the game where he was getting triple teamed. To come out of that game with 2 sacks and the game winning, pressure hit. He almost brought him down, and Joe Burrow somehow got the ball out. Do you think that Pirine could have caught that ball?
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm glad you bring this up because if that's me in that situation and a ball is semi-close to me, from 4th down in the Super Bowl, and you're not going to dive for it at least or like make an effort. I'm yet to see an angle like that kind of like justifies his point of just not even going for it. Like
Yeah, I'm watching it right
I'm just
now.
kind of
It's like I feel like he could have made at least a little bit more of an effort.
like
I don't know if it
dive.
was 100% catchable, but like do something, like do anything. And it's like
Like,
I don't know why he's in the game at that point in the game either. Like
And
Mixon
yeah,
is there
you
and Mixon is out. It makes no sense. Like Mixon
I
had a great game.
once I saw him in the game, I was just like, what are they even thinking? I'm like, this is
Yeah.
like the Super Bowl. I'm like, this is like something that like even if you
Yeah.
practice him in like your like play calling for the Super Bowl, like I get that, but like even then, that's like such a I don't know. I'd rather just have my best players,
Well,
even if he's tired. I'd rather just have my best player out there because I know that like even with a little space, he could still make a small play that would be big for them.
well, the worst part is that like he only had 2 rushes in the game. He only had 2 rushes in the game. There were 2 3rd-and-1s, and he got 0 yards on both of them.
Yeah, no, I
And
was
he
saying
only
like,
got 1 target in the game, and it was that 4th down ball. That was his 1
yeah,
target. That was the
that's
3
what
times or
that's what I was
3
trying to say.
clutch plays where Joe Mixon could have been in. It makes
Yeah,
no
no,
sense.
yeah, no, that's what I was trying to say. I was like, I guess like if you worked him into your game plan, like totally, but like he needs more than that if you're gonna run him into
Yeah,
game plan. Like,
you warm him up.
yeah, he just like stuck
and
him in the game. It literally looked like they just were like, oh, hey, get in. Like that was just
Yeah,
like
and we're going to talk about the 4th down play because that's more memorable. But the 3rd-and-1, I'm sorry, I understand you have certain plays drawn up. You cannot block Aaron Donald. Why are you running with your backup running back at Aaron Donald's face in the 4th quarter on a game-winning drive in the Super Bowl? I understand. Okay, maybe you want to run the ball, get the yard. You haven't been able to run the ball all second half. Your backup running backs in, and you have Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, and T. Higgins who were getting open on those slants. You have to get rid of the ball quick, and you have 3 nasty receivers and a quarterback who can make a play. Why are you running it with your backup running back on 3rd-and-1? I thought that was so boneheaded of them to do
and
that.
and not only that, and you said they get open, and they do. And Joe Burrow did a great game, or had a great game in terms of getting the ball out quick. He was doing it the whole game. He was throwing little slants, little dump downs. Occasionally, he would get enough time, step up in the pocket, and throw a deep ball. But if it's working throughout the game, like it's not like it wasn't working. They had no other option. Like we have to run the ball because we know we can't pass. Like there's better. I feel like there were better odds of them getting that first down by sending out your 3 best receivers to go run routes because they're 3 really good receivers. And even if like you have like a dump down option to your tight end, Uzama is like with a bad knee, still good. He had a couple catches that he got at least 1 first down, and it was a big first down. Like Uzama is trusted, like no matter how injured he is, and Mixon is there too. Like who's a great receiving back? Like there's so many different options you can do it in the air, and you chose to run the ball with your backup running back who had 0 yards on the day. It makes no sense.
Speaking of 0 yards, Joe Mixon had more passing yards than he did receiving yards in that game. It kind of baffles me. You know you're going to get pressured. Why aren't you sending your running backs out in the flat? Like, I hate bringing up the Patriots all the time, but it's just an example I always can resort to because I've watched them for the past 20 years. When Brady would get pressured, or whoever's the quarterback would get pressured, the running backs would just release out in the flat or release in the middle field, and you check it down. They did not do that once with Joe Mixon. So I'm just confused on what they expected to happen. Do they think their O-line could block?
Yeah, like I don't.
Yeah, that honestly, yeah, that made no sense at all. Like that's like a very good point. I don't know why. Like they knew their O line. Like there's no way they thought going into that game that their O line was gonna play as well as they like have been playing the last like few games, and even the last few games. Like he's like
they weren't
like Joe
playing
Burrow's.
they
weren't playing good, but like they were holding. No, I was gonna say they were holding them off like decent enough for them to like do stuff. Like they were still being active against the Rams. Like, well, like it was obviously not enough. But like he's the most like Joe Burrow's the most sacked quarterback in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like by far. And it was just like it just doesn't make any sense.
Right. Now we don't know what they're gonna do if they converted on that first down with such little time left, but losing by 3, and they had multiple opportunities to win this game. As you mentioned, getting held to 3 points on such good field position, like that's bad. And McPherson, we know, isn't gonna miss a kick ever. and he went 2 for 2 in the Super Bowl. Like if you
Yeah.
could have got it close enough, it would have been nice. But they had their opportunities throughout the game to score points, and they folded on them. I think both of McPherson's kicks, they had great field position, and they were like first and 10, like on like the 20, both times at one point, on those 2 separate drives, and they can't get it done. Like that's when you need to get it done, is in the Super Bowl. You need to score touchdowns. You can't go through these games and get stopped in prime field position. It just doesn't work like that, especially against such a veteran team with a good coach. And Sean McVay did a great job with the defense.
I agree.
I think both defenses played very
Yes.
well. I mean,
Yes,
the
I agree 100%.
Bengals defense only let up 21 or 43 total rushing yards, only 21 to Cam Akers, like they're starting back on 13 attempts. And like Sony Michel only had 2 rushes for 2 yards. Darrell Henderson had 4 rushes for 7. The defensive line for the Bengals, I thought, played outstanding. They
Yes.
sacked Matt Stafford twice. It just they didn't do enough in the secondary. I think they got guys like Mike Hilton. They have, I don't know. I think when it came
And
down
Logan
to
Wilson
it,
had a great game. Their linebacker.
yeah,
He had
yes,
a great
yes,
game. That hit that he had too on Van Jefferson, when Van had like no other options, and then Logan Wilson just popped out of nowhere. That hit was nuts. Like their defense had a good game, and Eli Apple got like mossed twice.
yeah.
But like other than that, it's not like anybody had like a terrible game. Like Jesse Bates was playing good, had a couple of hits. They had 2 picks. They had 2 takeaways.
Jesse Bates got an interception too.
Yeah, Jesse Bates
on that
Awuzie.
on that deep ball. I don't know why Stafford even threw that
yeah.
ball.
That was,
That
And
was
then
like a
Awuzie
dumb.
got the tip
That
too.
was that was just a dumb play. I
I
was so
thought
confused.
Awuzie, he had a really good game. I thought you always heard
Yes,
he was
he
making
did.
big hits. He probably made like 2-3 big hits in the first half. That I was like, how the hell is this guy gonna get up? And
I like Awuzie a lot.
I do
he
too.
played very.
He's good.
He made a name for himself. Like I know
Yeah.
he has been playing well all playoffs, but like to show up in the Super Bowl, especially with how young the Bengals are, a kind of narrative that was going into the game is a stage too big for a lot of these guys. Clearly, it wasn't. Like
No.
I think, like especially the guys on the defense came out and played hard. So it sucks that they lost, but I mean, all credit to the Rams. I feel like we're kind of talking a lot about the
Yeah, we're
Bengals,
talking a
but, like,
lot about the Bengals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we
I
knew
mean,
what the Rams were gonna do. Like let's be
Yeah,
honest.
like
The Rams
the
are
Rams.
insane.
Yeah. No, the Rams game that they played yesterday was like the most like we were expecting all of that to happen.
That's how the Rams play.
Yeah, like that's like they did nothing out of the ordinary where we were like, wow, that was like fantastic. That's just like, okay, they stayed consistent pretty much throughout. I mean, yes, I think their D line, obviously they had literally the best game they could possibly have.
Yeah.
Like that was definitely like probably one of the better things that we've seen. Like that's different from what they've been doing, but that's not even like that much different. Like
No, it's not.
they've been pressuring quarterbacks like that all season. So like,
Yeah, and
nothing
I mean
really
we knew.
changed.
And how about Eric Weddle playing? What did he have? A torn? Was that
a torn
labrum
pec.
or what? Tore.
It was
Yeah,
pec, it was
he
pec,
tore
it
his
was pec.
pec.
Yeah.
And he's
Early.
that. Yeah, that was
Early.
like the first quarter, early second quarter, and he stayed in. The guy was on the couch 3 months ago. Like he wasn't in the league anymore. And he signed back. He showed up. You could tell a lot of these guys on the Rams, this is it for them. Like there's no other option. They need to win now, or they will never win.
And do you think?
And that's what I think the
retire?
drive. If I'm Aaron Donald, I'm retiring. Like
he's done enough.
He's young
already.
He's 30, but think of it from his perspective. Every single game for 20 games a year, you're getting triple team, double team, cheap shotted, and you're just. I don't know. I retire. I have everything.
I'd retire.
Two, three
I'd
defensive
agree.
player of the years, consistent Pro Bowler, consistent All Pro.
Yeah.
Like, what else do you need to prove? You have your Super Bowl now.
He's nuts.
I think
take care of your body, take care of your kids. You're fine.
Honestly, I think he should retire. Like, I mean, there's no reason why he doesn't, but I think it depends on who stays. because I feel like he's always had the mentality. Like I feel like he easily could have, like obviously he wanted his ring, definitely could have retired like 2 years ago and still had the same name for himself. Like
Yeah.
in my opinion, and I feel like if a lot of the same guys stay, I feel like that mentality where they can win it again is obviously still there. So
Another name I heard in terms of retirement was OBJ, especially hurting his leg again. And it's the same left knee. I heard like from a lot of different people that he might just be done. Like because he's made a promise, like in his documentary when he was coming back last year from his torn ACL, he was like, "You'll never see me on a hospital bed again." And like now, obviously,
it was such a tough watch, that injury. Like I knew right away, like right when he like planted that leg, right when he planted that leg, and then he like just immediately grabbed it, like he couldn't even do anything else. I was like, yeah, he's out for the game. Like you knew right away.
When Joe took that hit and his knee like snapped, I thought he was done. I didn't think he could walk after that. And then he just like got up. He went over to.
I wouldn't be surprised if reports or something came out saying he had a torn ACL.
Yeah, he's not okay.
Just, after getting hit that many times to get rolled, I mean, even Matt Stafford had that ankle injury that looked like we said, like we were talking about last night. I probably would have been out for 2 to 3 weeks if that happened to me. Either of those injuries, I mean, maybe longer. Yeah. Like, just looking at it, I almost
happened to me. I actually would be out forever. Like I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I would.
Like that's borderline retirement.
Yeah, but like he played the rest of the game and like did well. Like he wasn't even like struggling with it. And how many carries did he have? He had 2 carries. He had one before that, and then he had another carry after it for a first down. Like, how are you able to like move right now? He had a great game, even though he didn't have like a 350-yard touchdown or 350-yard game with 2 touchdowns, but like 263, 1 touchdown. In his circumstances, going up against Von Miller and Aaron Donald at the same time with the offensive line you have, and not only that, one of their tackles late in the game had an unnecessary roughness. After the whistle, he pushed. I think it was Aaron Donald. He pushed Aaron Donald.
Yeah, it was
like,
on the.
What are you doing? Like you're terrible. You cannot be wasting yards if you're like one of the worst players on the field. Yeah. Especially in the Super Bowl. That's unacceptable.
I think it was on that play where Burrow was scrambling and Aaron Donald pushed him out and they gave Aaron Donald a sack. Normal, completely like football play. Like
he was still in.
Burrow was in bounds. Like I don't know why. I mean, obviously you want to protect your quarterback, but like there's a time and a place. You don't get penalties for that. Or no. I'm sorry. The unnecessary roughness or whatever that was.
That was a different one. That was when Burrow.
It was on the Burrow got rolled up. Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, you just let up a sack. What are you pushing?
Yeah, you let up a
sack during the play, you idiot.
Guy because he like hurt your quarterback. Don't let him hurt your quarterback. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Like I wish I knew who it was. It was number 75, I think. Who's number 75 on the Bengals? He's their tackle. You cannot, and CJ Uzomah ran over and was like chirping him out, like because he should, like he had no business doing that. Was it Isaiah Prince? I think it was Isaiah Prince. Yeah,
probably.
It was.
24-year-old, their backup right tackle, but their starter was out. Who was Reef? Like, come on, you can't do that.
The only good lineman
in the Super Bowl. Yeah, in the Super Bowl, and you're the backup. You shouldn't even be playing, and now you're wasting 15 yards because you have an ego, even though you're awful at what you do. Like he's bad. He's not even like I don't see potential into him. And I noticed that like when Reef was out, because he was out like a good amount, like this guy was terrible the whole time.
Yeah, and like the Bengals had a lot of mind lapses in the game. Like Vernon Hargraves running onto the field to celebrate. You cannot. That's selfish. You can't do that. Yeah. Wait for your teammates to get to the sideline. You don't run on the field. You don't cost your team. You don't cost your team yards, especially when you're not playing.
Yeah, and I think Zach Taylor like got into like he was pissed. He was pissed, and they were like showing him yelling at him on the sideline. Like it was bad. Like it's the Super Bowl. Like you cannot be making those dumb mistakes like that. It's like you're on such a bigger stage. Like this is for like literally everything. This is literally what you play for the whole year, and you're not even playing. You can't run onto the field. Like,
I don't know what
back
he
and
was
be like,
thinking.
congratulations. Like what? Like a lot of dumb mistakes that low key cost them like a lot. Like these are big deals. And the 15-yard penalties are so bad. It's awful.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah,
I feel like this game was everything I wanted it to be. I feel like we knew what was going to happen. Once since he got a lead, I was a little confused. I actually thought that the Rams were going to win. I wanted the Bengals, but once OBJ scored that first touchdown, I was like, oh yeah, like I forgot about the Rams. And they came back. Mixon's touchdown throw was electric to T. Higgins because that play made me money as well. So it was just awesome because literally the play before, they were in the red zone, and I was like, wait, I need somebody on the Bengals to score. Who is it? And I checked, and I had like all my friends, and I was like, oh, I need T. Higgins to score. And literally the next play, T. Higgins caught a ball from Joe Mixon. It was electric. That's what I wanted to see in the Super Bowl. I got a trick play in the Super Bowl, so I'm happy. That's all I needed. And then the Rams tried to run the Philly special.
Yeah, that was wild. And then he like overthrew Stafford, and Stafford like just like
fell.
that was just he just like fell over. I was like, what is going on?
It was hilarious.
That's a prime example of McVay. Like you don't need to do that. And in this, why would you have your best receiver throw it to your quarterback? It should be the other way around.
I don't know why they ran it. Like, was it in their own half?
Yeah.
Like, well, why?
It was like a 3rd and 2 on their own half, and they ran the Philly special. Like, it made no sense.
And I understand if it's 4 down territory to like call a play like that, or like if it's 2nd down and short, and you kind of want to drop a shot. That 2nd one's a perfect time to like throw a shot up. But 3rd and 1 in your own territory when it's not 4 down territory, in kind of a crucial situation because the Bengals could have gone up 2 scores the next series, but I mean the defense showed up. I don't know. I'm not Sean McVay. Clearly, he does what he does.
He's too smart
because
he's too smart to the point where it's like I feel like he thinks he's trying to fool like a coach that's smarter than they actually are. It's like we're gonna run like this reverse throw to Matthew Stafford because nobody's gonna think of that. Where it's like if you just like send Cooper Kupp out on any route, like he'll be open on 3rd and 2. That's just what he does. Like he could have played that game a lot more in a lot more simple way, and it would have worked out just fine. And I think I wish OBJ played the whole game. I think he could have got over 100 yards. He had 2 receptions for 52 and a touchdown. That touchdown to me was awesome. And I don't know if you guys like OBJ or not, but I'm a fan of OBJ, and I think he has like his moments and all of that, and he didn't do that great on the Browns, but I'm happy that he got a ring. I'm happy that Matthew Stafford got a ring. I'm happy that Aaron Donald got a ring. And actually, I'm very happy that Von Miller got 2. And that's the 2nd ring. That's big. I like Von Miller a lot. I don't know how much longer he has.
I was gonna say the same thing. I'm happy for Von Miller too, but I'm honestly more happy that Odell like had a real role in like their ring.
Yeah.
Like every game that they won, like he scored. Like I mean, like obviously like Cup probably could have carried them, but I don't think they would have carried them this far. I really think like one of the main reasons why they even were successful like since that signing was literally because of him.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta think of it like this. Look at in the first quarter, the Rams, the first half till Odell got hurt, the Rams were going up and down the field. I mean, Odell Beckham, he had obviously like only 2 receptions, but he had 52 yards. He had that one. Yards. I remember the crossing route where he was just wide open, and he got another 15, 20 yards after the catch. He would have had, I think, I don't know, he was on pace maybe for 100, 150 yards. Could have scored another touchdown or something. It just his role was clearly missed when he was gone, like when he was out, because The Rams
Yes,
had nobody else to throw to. I mean, I guess Van Jefferson, he's the wide receiver 3. That guy, I always think he's just going to do more than he actually does.
Same.
Because
Yeah,
Because
no,
I
I
feel
think
like
he's
him,
so
but he
good,
never
and he's
does
just like
anything
he's
for
like
me.
average.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because he had a good rookie
had
year
4
too.
receptions for
He did.
Yeah, he had 4 receptions for 20 for 23 yards. Like Benny Hopkins had more. Or what's this guy's name? Yeah, Bryson Hopkins had
Bryson
more
Hopkins, their tight
receptions,
end.
more yards than Van Jeff. Like, I don't know. It's just clearly Odell had a crazy impact on that offense, especially with the ability to throw and move the ball.
Right. And I feel like we're forgetting that Robert Woods is on this team and Tyler Higbee, who's a good tight end. And that's why I'm Hopkins confused today. Hopkins had 47 yards. I don't even want to imagine what Higbee could have done. Because Higbee's a good route, like a very good route runner and all that. And one of Hopkins' balls was right to him. He almost dropped it. That was insane. And he still got I think he got 15 or 16 yards, something like that off. It was his longest reception. And if you have Robert Woods, this is a whole different ballgame. Like when OBJ is your debatably your wide receiver 3, imagine how nuts they would have been. And I hope that OBJ's leg is okay, even though I don't think it is personally, just because non-contact injuries, they're never good.
I think
It
they
was an
announced
ACL.
torn ACL.
It was a torn ACL.
They came out with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know if he'll be back ever again. I think he might call it quits. But if he comes back, even if it's halfway through next season and they have Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, and OBJ, that's going to be insane. They're going to be nuts. I think though, there's going to be a lot of people that retire on this team within the next few years. They were definitely just they made all these moves to go win now. We know that OBJ is kind of on the end, even though he's 29. We just know that he's not going to play until he's 40. He's not the type of player to do that. And Aaron Donald, that news came out, and Von Miller's getting up there, trading Jared Goff for Matthew Stafford. They got a lot older. They got better, but they got a lot older. And I feel I don't know if we'll see them at this stage again this year or next year. I think they're a playoff team, especially when they have a coach of that caliber. But this was definitely their year to go and get it. And being a 4 seed, we still all knew that they had the potential to do this.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? This is probably just a shot in the dark. But Matt Stafford's 34. He wins the Super Bowl. What are the chances he hangs it up? Especially because Odell's technically a free agent, right?
He might.
Yeah.
Odell's a free agent. Who knows if they bring him? I don't know how quick he can turn around because Cam Akers turned around from it was a torn Achilles, right?
It was a torn Achilles.
Yeah, so Cam, that's similarity kind of that the timetable for return from an Achilles and an ACL, 2 different injuries, obviously. But if Odell can come back,
he had a very quick
before the season.
Did.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's just Matt Stafford. I'm not saying Matt Stafford's going to retire because in terms of quarterbacks nowadays, he still technically has another 6 years. That's when we kind of see the drop off around 38. But I don't know. The Rams, the defense, I think is going to look so much different because
I think they'll still have Ramsey, but I don't know what else they'll have.
Yeah, that whole
with
team's
that
going to look
DB
different.
group,
And
that DB group without Ramsey is nothing. I don't believe in their DBs to go out and make plays other than Ramsey. I do like their cornerback too. What's his name?
Darius Williams.
Or maybe their
Darius Williams?
David Long Jr.
Yeah,
I like David Long Jr. a lot. But he's not a wider, or he's not a cornerback 1 caliber player, but he's a nice young player. Other than that, Jalen Ramsey just carries that whole secondary, and their linebackers, in my opinion, personally, I don't think are great. I think their D line is awesome, but they have a lot of holes, and starting within this next year, they're gonna have a lot more.
And they can't really address any of these needs because they don't have any draft picks.
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
or they're in a little bit of a hole.
They're in a hole.
When
they went for the win.
Yeah, when you go all out and it succeeds, I don't really think you have anything to be ashamed of.
No, it's kind of
think of it like this: if you're the Jets and a team that hasn't won forever. That just first team that pops in my mind. And you
Mhm.
tell them, all right, you trade all your first round picks the next 5 years and all your young guys to get older guys to win the Super Bowl this year. I guarantee they would do it 10 times out of 10. The whole objective of playing any sport is to win the championship. Win now, essentially. So I don't know. I think it's important that they win now, and especially that the fact that they won, they have nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah,
agree.
and I think this relates very closely to like the Eagles Super Bowl. I think the Rams were better than the Eagles were, but like the Eagles kind of put all their chips in on that defense, and they had receivers too, but it was kind of just like a 1 year thing, and now the Eagles are like back to what they are. I think it relates to that in a sense of what they did to what they're going to do the next couple of years. I think it was a little bit different of a scenario, just the caliber of players that this team truly had. Like Nick Foles was their quarterback, but Matthew Stafford is the Rams. And then like there was Cooper Kupp, but they had names on that team that just weren't the same after that year. And on defense, it was because of age. On offense, it was because of trades and injuries. But I kind of relate it to that. It's like you made a Super Bowl run, you win all in, but now what are you going to do in 5 years? And that's why the Patriots were so different. And we keep bringing them up. But that's why that's why the Chiefs are struggling as well. And Will is a Chiefs hater. So it's like I feel like you could either take those two routes, but nobody actually has the stability to take that first route, the Pats route, where you keep your draft picks, you do good through the draft, and you have to make big decisions. And you can take those two routes during those big decisions. You can just sign a couple of your players to very, very big deals and trade away some other players so that you can bring in veterans, stuff like that. Or you can keep building with what you've got. And the Rams did that. They just went straight up for their veterans. And it was funny because we saw the Bengals who are kind of trying to do the other route, which is keep your youth. We have so many young guys. They're going to continue to have these young guys for the next few years because I mean, there's some rookies, there's some second year, third year guys. And I think that the Bengals aren't done. Like, I don't think that this was a run where like the Bengals made it to the Super Bowl. Like, wow, that's crazy. They just got their first Super Bowl win. Or they just got their first playoff win this season. How are they in the Super Bowl? Like, I think they're going to be good for the next 5-10 years. Like, they're going to be very good. And I think they're going to do a good job. I don't know why. I think that they won't struggle like the Chiefs did with keeping their youth.
I agree. I was gonna say, like getting back to like the Rams, like how like it's hard to take a route after like obviously no shame in what they did. They won. Obviously, if they lost, different story because then that's like a lot to give up for no win. So obviously, no shame. I think it definitely plays on how many of those guys actually choose to stay, sign back, or like don't retire or whatever. And I think honestly, they've been so smart with their all-in moves. I feel like they could easily make trades for like their players who are like borderline going to retire to gain some of their like capital back at all. Like even if it's like minimal, I feel like they'll still be able to like do so.
Yeah.
I think that's really their only answer because they don't have like much for like going after like going all in.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you got to think if the Bengals solidify their offensive line even a little bit, if they get like two offensive linemen, they'll be back. Like I think obviously the Bills and the Chiefs, everyone thinks about them, but the Bengals have the Chiefs number. I mean, you kind of have to think of that. Their division is I don't want to say the division's weak because Baltimore was injured all year, but even a fully healthy Baltimore team, the Bengals smacked twice.
Cleveland's terrible.
Yeah, no, Cleveland's terrible. I mean,
good.
even like
Steelers,
like
Steelers
even
have
like
their questions.
Well, the Steelers don't have a quarterback.
Steelers just don't have anything, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they have their defense, but that's not going to pull them through the whole season. They can't drag them again.
And the defensive, they have Najee Harris. They don't have an O line. They don't have receivers.
Yeah, and like
half the receivers are gonna like move on probably because Big Ben's not there. I think Juju's a free agent. I think Deontay Johnson's a free agent too. Why are those guys gonna go back to Pittsburgh if they don't have a quarterback?
I think Claypool has 2 more years.
Yeah.
But that's off season talk.
Yeah. I mean, even in the Bengals situation, I feel like no matter who they are, they're still gonna pull out to win games. like just the way their team is built.
Joe Burrow is just a winner. Like it's simple.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
like I don't think it like matters. I mean, obviously, unless they get that bye and like home field advantage, either way they're still playing that first week. I don't think that
They don't-
mentality changes.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't. I mean, for the next few years, you're not going to want to play the AFC through Paul Brown. It's going to be like a fun fight because we have 3 teams in the AFC. We have 3 teams in the AFC. We have the Chiefs. Actually, we have more than 3 teams. We always see the AFC as like a division that was run by the Patriots for years, and then occasionally a team would have a great year where they put all the pieces together. They somehow snuck through the Pats and they went on. And I think every year, I might be wrong, but I think every year that the Pats didn't make it to the Super Bowl, that AFC team that beat the Patriots probably in the championship won. So like it was just
Except
like
the Seahawks one.
Oh yeah, when the Broncos,
yeah, the Broncos.
the Seahawks Broncos. That is
Yeah.
true. I was literally at that game. But like, there's got to be a stat that hasn't happened many times where a team got through the Pats. But like,
I think it's just the
that's
Ravens.
because I feel like the AFC was so like I don't want to say weak,
Top
but the
heavy?
NFC, yeah, it was top heavy, and the NFC was kind of more spread out. And we saw it again this year where it's like it looked like that going into the playoffs. It was like, who's it going to be? Like the Titans are the 1 seed, but like the Titans, like they're not that great.
Yeah.
The Chiefs are good because they have those 3 guys over there. The Bills are good, and now is it the Bengals as that 3rd team that they're going to be competing, all 3 of them, for championships? Like I think that might be the case, and I think that's going to be a lot more fun than the way that we've seen the AFC go, where it's just like there's 2 teams, one makes the Super Bowl and one loses to them in the conference championship. But now we're starting to get a little bit more power on the AFC side,
which is awesome.
I don't know how you guys feel, but yeah, like
I think
that's
awesome.
the way.
I'm with that.
That's what it looks like, and it's like it's cool because like hopefully like the Chargers can have like one of those years where it's like they put all the pieces together. Like realistically, I'm a big Herbert guy. I don't see him winning like 3 or 4 Super Bowls. I just don't think like the teams he's going to be on have that caliber, like the Bengals caliber. Like they're just not the same. They're really not the same.
A lot has to change, like
Yes.
just like in terms of like front office capabilities and like the moves that they make. I mean, I definitely see him winning 1. I mean, I think if they do make change, I think 2 is definitely in his timeline.
Yeah,
I think it's so like how our perspectives of quarterbacks and teams are so driven by Super Bowls. It's so hard to win a Super Bowl. Like just kind of putting things in perspective, Brady winning 7 is we'll never see that ever again. No other quarterback has multiple in the league right now. Obviously, like every single quarterback that was old retired. Matt Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, they only have 1. Mahomes has 1, and like I don't know. I really can't think of any other quarterbacks. I mean, Russell Wilson has 1 now.
Brian Hoyer has like 5.
I can't think. Yeah, well, yeah, guys like that. Jarrett Stidham has a few too. But like, it's so hard to win a Super Bowl, and it's impossible to think to win more. You know what I mean? Like, look at Aaron Rodgers. Everyone always argues him as like one of the best of all time. He only has 1 Super Bowl. Like, who would have thought? I don't know. I just think it's winning a Super Bowl is like the hardest thing to do in sports.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
It definitely is, and I know it's very difficult because my team has only won 1, and it was like the biggest moment of my life. And like you guys have had 7 of those biggest moments of your life. Like I've only had 1 of those, so like it's not easy, and like especially when your team is like the years that you go through where it's like my team's not going to the Super Bowl this year. There's no way. Like, it happens, and like it's tough. it's a tough pill to swallow, especially being from the New England area where it's like everybody else. It's like championship or bust, and I'm hoping I'm like the 2 seed of the NFC West because that's a tough division. It would be cool. Like, and obviously the Seahawks weren't that this year, but the Seahawks had a lot of issues. But Russ will be our quarterback forever. Russ will actually be our quarterback until the day I die. I'm not even kidding. He's not leaving. But
Not gonna retire.
He won't retire ever. He's gonna play until he's 120, bro. Trust me. Like look, in like 3 weeks he's gonna get traded to like to like the Bucks or something. We're gonna get a defensive piece, and I'm gonna be like, nice, we're not a quarterback. But yeah, no, I'd say overall Super Bowl. I don't know. I can't rank it against other Super Bowls because other Super Bowls have lived in my head for years. So I'm gonna need some more time to process it before I do that. But this Super Bowl was a great game, 23-20. There was defense and there was offense. Like there was plays, there was big stops. In my opinion, it was everything I wanted to see, and I got to see McPherson kick 2 field goals. We saw a missed extra point in the Super Bowl, which was embarrassing. This is the Super Bowl. You get paid to do this, Johnny Hekker. Johnny Hekker, who almost won Super Bowl MVP if the Rams beat the Pats, he's the one that messed all that up. So thanks, John. That I feel like this game would have been a lot different too if he made that, because it would be 24-20, and that last drive you need a touchdown.
Yeah, that's very true. I was gonna say, I think this Super Bowl, like, I mean, compared to like the last ones and the ones that we talked about a couple episodes ago, I mean, like I'm content. Like I'm happy with it. Yeah, like I'm happy. Like I'm glad it wasn't like some kind of like awful game, or like it was just one-sided and like we just watched like one team just. I mean, obviously, if it was the Bengals giving to the Rams, I would have been happy regardless.
Yeah.
But like if it was the Rams, like, and if like the Bengals showed how young they were and the Rams kind of just like kicked ass the whole game, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed the game like at all.
Yeah, no, but like it was so evenly distributed. Like it was a good game, 23-20. It's not like it was like it was 3. Like the game is good. The game is good when the team that wins doesn't cover the spread. It's simple.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, that means it was a close game. It was a good game. It was the Super Bowl. And this was like one of the Super Bowls. And when Joe Burrow has the ball at the end of the game, he's so young, so you can't even put that label on him that he's going to do it every time. But you still just think that he has it because he had it throughout this whole playoff run. He's just so young that it's like, is he just going to do
that he will? You like want to believe that he will just do it.
But like he's just so young and he has it in him. And I think he has a lot of things that Patrick Mahomes doesn't have. I think Patrick Mahomes has a lot more skill than him. But I think Mahomes is missing a lot of the mental stuff that people like a Joe Burrow, and I'm going to name some names here, and I don't know if you guys agree with me on this, but like people like a Joe Burrow and like a Peyton Manning like type player, like they just have something in them that they go out and they just win the game. Like they can just take over, and they're not in their own head about anything. I feel like Patrick Mahomes is kind of just like he just goes out there and he's so much better than everybody that he just beats everybody because of it. But like when Joe Burrow like he can will a whole team to win a game, and he almost did, but he just fell a little bit too short. And you cannot blame this game on Burrow.
No.
I think really I'm blaming the offensive line 100%. I like 7 sacks in a Super Bowl is crazy.
Yeah, like the blame has to go. Like I'm sorry, like like I get it. Like that's like one of the hardest jobs to have.
Yeah, no,
just
I understand
like that. Yeah, it's just like there's no excuse. I'm like I'm sorry. Like 7.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Like you did all you could, but it wasn't enough, and it's all your fault. Because like they ran the ball well. Like they had 80 yards, and against that defensive line, it's going to be difficult. And they passed the ball okay, but there was just a lot of moments where we needed one more second, and we would have been okay. So like you ruined it. The whole offensive line. It's not one person on the offensive line to blame, except I hate how number 75 drew that 15. That was terrible. But I feel like the MVP was Cooper Kupp. I feel like the LVP was that offensive line. It was bad.
Yes.
It was bad. A lot of players did good. Everybody performed the way they were in the Super Bowl except for that offensive line. That's the way that I have to put it.
Yep.
And Logan Wilson had a great game.
Agreed.
I'm very proud of Logan Wilson.
I agree.
But anyways, I don't think I have anything else to cover unless you guys do.
I'm good.
Well, that's going to do it for our Super Bowl review. I hope you guys enjoy. We will see you guys on Friday. And peace.
Peace.
Yep.